Hello everyone. Today's TFT is TFT 8 for T21 aspirants, and the topic for today is sociology as science. Okay. We have been doing this topic from the past few days, and today we will be covering the last subtopic, which is fact, value and objectivity. Today's TFT is a kind of revision of whatever we have studied till now. We have studied about fact, value, positivists, non-positivists. All these theories and methodologies we have studied, and we know what is fact, we know what is value, and how these two impact a sociological research. Therefore, you would not find any difficulty in understanding today's TFT. So, what did we study in sociology as science? We studied about the subject matter, that what will it consist of? It would consist of statics plus dynamics. We also studied about the different sociological perspectives. These perspectives were functionalism. Then we had conflict. This was based on social order, and this was based on conflict, that means struggle. Then we had the non-positivist methodologies. Under it we studied interpretive approach, phenomenology, ethnomethodology and symbolic interactionism. We have yet to study this research methods in details. Here we will be having qualitative methods and quantitative methods. These will come under topic 3. Okay, but we know that sociological perspectives and the research methods together, they form the research methodology. Now, any science consists of a subject matter, right? And it consists of various theories. It consists of the practical part, which are the methods, and it consists of the scientists who are conducting these research methodologies. Okay, they are also the people who decide the subject matter. So they form a crucial component of sociology or any discipline as science. Now, during the establishment of sociology as a science, the main problem before the sociologists or the early researchers was the problem of objectivity. This was the main concern, that at first they decided that they would be having a scientific discipline. That was the first decision, but now the mountain before them, or the challenge before them, was to form a discipline on the lines of the natural sciences. And the one thing which caught their attention was that they assumed that if they had to form a discipline on the lines of natural sciences, then objectivity was very important. Objectivity means it would be free from any bias or prejudices of the researchers. So that means if I conduct an experiment in a particular condition, then I would get the same observation as any other social scientist. Now, sociology or sociological research would include social data as well as the scientist who would be doing it, plus a certain methodologies. Now, because the early scientists were in favor of having an objective discipline, or they wanted the research to be objective, therefore they assumed that the data which they should be studying would be facts. Facts means anything which they could observe and which would remain same everywhere, in every society. This was illustrated in Social Facts by Durkheim when he studied the concept of suicide. this was observed in every society. That is what he concluded from his research. Another point was that the data should be value free. This is similar to fact only, but it stressed on the value part, that if someone would ask that, okay, we have dealt with facts, then what are we going to do about the values? Then the scientist said that we would make sure that the research was devoid of any values. What were values? They were anything which were not same everywhere. They did not have this character of universality. They were specific and they kept on changing. So they didn't want this changing aspect, this variable. They did not want this variable aspect to be included in the data that were to be observed. The next concern was about the sociologist. What role would the sociologist or the social researchers would play in forming an objective discipline? They would have to be value neutral. They would have to be value neutral. What does it mean? It means they would not be affected by any values. No personal opinion, no judgment, unaffected. Right? You can say without feelings. That kind of sociologist or social researchers were the early sociologists looking for. Thus what happened, that they totally separated this value concept from the research. So they said that we are totally going to focus on the factual aspect and value will not be there. So they assumed that it was possible for value to be totally taken out from any research that they were going to conduct. So they assumed there was a dichotomy, there was an extreme separation between fact and value, and this they stressed while striving for an objective discipline. Also, in the case of methodology, they thought that they would be able to remove the value aspect from methodology. That means they would mainly be concerned with quantitative methods, the scientific method. So if someone asks you what is objectivity, then you will have to explain all these points from the perspective of the data, then sociologists, and then from the methodology. But there were many problems ahead. What were these problems? Firstly was that when they had to choose a particular topic for research, or when they had to define a certain problem, for example, slavery or the suicide, or let's say child marriage, if we consider it as a social problem in a particular area, then who was going to choose this topic and this problem? The sociologist would be choosing, or the researcher would be choosing, but on what criteria would he or she choose? That was variable, that was subjective to his choice. If, for example, he was affected by children or the child issues, then he or she would choose, let's say, child marriage. But if he was too much inclined with the environment, then the issue would in some way be related to environment. Let's say ecofeminism, right? So this choice was totally subjective, and here the values played a very important role in the choice of this topic. Now, after the choosing of the topic and the problem, he or she would have to collect facts or carry out the research on field. Here also, the mode of collection of facts, that would depend on it would be variable. It was not something predictable. For example, I could not predict which method you are going to use to collect the data. For example, someone would go for survey, other person would go for questionnaire, and someone for focused interview. After collection of data came the interpretation. This was totally under the sociologist's control, and there was no room for factuality. My interpretation would differ from your interpretation. The major factor which was observed in these data would be different from what you would observe. And this theory that I would come up with, that I would formulate as a form of conclusion, you can say, that will totally depend on the interpretation. This was also variable. And finally, when I would go for testing tools in order to confirm my observation or my hypothesis, then also this choice was variable. This was in my hand. So you can say in the problems, the choice of topic and problem definition, the collection of facts, the interpretation of facts, formulation of theory, and the choice of testing tools, all these came under the values of the researcher. So this was observed by other scientists also. And Goldner, he says that value neutrality, that means assuming that values will have no effect on the research, is an elusive goal. It is like an utopia. Okay, we are looking for something which is not possible, an ideal situation, because the viewpoints and the values are essential, because in the interpretation of the data, an opinion is necessary, an assertion is necessary, and this will not come through facts. Facts do not act in vacuum, they act in context of certain values. This is what he meant. So, now what would be the solution to this problem of objectivity? The solution was given by Weber. He gave a two-tiered approach. Tier 1, he said that while we were choosing, or the sociologist was choosing, the end purpose and the perspective which was to be used or on which the research would be based, these two things we would use values while choosing them. For example, the purpose or my area of study. Whether I choose a child related issue, or a marriage related issue, or a female related issue, or aged related issue, this was in my control, and here we should be tolerant towards the values, that okay, it is fine to have certain choice, and even if it is not fixed, it does not matter. Similarly, the perspective that I was going to use, that was also in my hand. What perspective I was going to use to study the child marriage, or marriage in the modern society, or female issues, or the aging issues, this was also in my control, and we would have to be tolerant. Tolerant means we would have to accept values in these two areas. But there was a condition. After choosing, in the next step, that is tier 2, we would have to opt for a value free research. There was no scope of values in the second stage. That means once we start the research process, then we cannot make any excuses that okay, please allow this much of value here, or please allow that much. No, there was no room for error. That means we would have to carry the experiment, social experiment or anything, word by word. Follow the procedure strictly. So here you can see that Weber was adopting a middle path. He said, okay, let's take into account values in tier 1, but no values in tier 2. So he gave this much of liberty to the sociologists. So, when we read about fact, value and objectivity, you need to remember that while establishing sociology as a science, the scientists were in favor of establishing an objective discipline. They wanted the research method to be objective, and that is why the question of fact value dichotomy came up. But finally it was observed that a strict demarcation or strict division of fact and value was not possible, because fact did not exist in vacuum and it always existed in context of certain values. So there is one point that you should remember against positivists, that means those people or those scientists who were in favor of an objective discipline. That is, complete objectivity was neither desirable nor achievable. Why not desirable? Because we need values for interpretation. Therefore, value neutrality is not desirable. We do not want it, because these values which help us in interpreting are actually helping us in our sociological research. Also, another point was this is not achievable. Not achievable because there is no fact value dichotomy. The point which was against non-positivists was that the mere fact that objectivity is difficult to achieve doesn't call for its disregard. That means just because you have thought that perfect objectivity is not possible, you cannot simply disregard it. You can adopt objectivity with certain changes, with certain modifications according to your research. What modifications? By including values wherever necessary, you can still have an objective discipline and thus an objective research methodology. Thus, in conclusion, what we can say is that objectivity is not value neutrality as assumed before by the positivists. Why? Because the meaning of objectivity has changed, and one can be objective even after accepting the prevailing values of the society. Just because you have to be objective doesn't mean you disregard all the values. No. Even after taking into consideration all the values, you can be objective. You can still have an objective discipline. So, a workable model of objectivity can be devised. That is the middle path. That is the two-tier approach which was given by Weber. So, this brings us to the end of topic 2. The source that you will be following will be Nitin Sangwan, chapter 2, and this topic, fact, value and objectivity. I think 2-3 pages it is. So, you can easily cover it. And all the best for today's TFT. Please revise, as I keep saying again and again, and wish you all a very happy Diwali.